Is it weird that I don't care about people's philosophy? I'd be like, oh man, you better not curse within the first 5 minutes or you get demonetized. And I'm all like, wait a minute. Why only the first 5 minutes? Are you trying to admit to something that you don't actually watch the rest of the video? You fool! In the last conversation, we discussed. Yeah, this is starting to become a thesis on stuff. That's sadly where we're going. It's not even a matter of feeling like I'm wasting or going derailing off the imagination. This only gets so interesting. It's kind of a moot point as to my strategy, as it's going to remain the same throughout the entire game. Just kind of go in there, shoot the shit out of them.
But hey, it feels like a mathematical exercise in violence. But violence for the right reasons, you know? Oh, man. What could happen now? Can we stop having this trope of I shoot one guy, then a million guys come after me? Like, okay, I get it. You're mad, but I kind of preferred it when you're, like, hiding around and I was trying to, like, figure out the best angle of attack on you. Instead, you all come at me at once, and I don't know what the fun in that is, since you can all die just as fast as I do. Not very interesting, like in Doom, or especially Quake, and especially Unreal, where like combat between a single enemy is a process, and there's good ways to establish that. But here it's just like, well, it's either you or me. It becomes a game of quick draw, really. That's what's sad about it, especially how glass cannon you are. That's definitely a downside when I'm playing Blake Stone. Very glass cannony. And the enemies are so not glass cannony, it's pathetic. So glass cannony that you can't carry a cannon between these squares of Hitler memorabilia. The memorability of the memorabilia means don't shoot me in the face, Mr. Man.
I can't believe it. He's shooting me again. What was he thinking about all these things that he said to me?
I wonder if talking, like writing, can almost feel like as much a waste of time as listening and reading. Are we really wasting our time if we're watching passive media? Are you wasting your time watching this? Get out of here. I wouldn't call this my best. It's not. This is definitely filler. I am not compensating for anything. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But I remind you again that a lot of this, whether funny or not, or interesting or not, or entertaining, or informative, intellectual, or just nonsense, as much as that is, I must remind you that this is secondary. The whole point is me playing the game. And me talking about it is just a cover for the fact that A, people need a reason to join this stuff, and B, I need a distinction between myself and others out there. And usually the only distinction between individuals, them, the individuals. So what's the best way of doing that? Well, prove I exist by speaking. Although others who do not want to speak instead use their face. And yeah, okay, that's valid, but... And, you know, that's good, because that means no one can copyright your face. Like, don't have someone copyright your face. Don't put in the will, oh yes, you can use my likeness in CGI. Like, that's fucked up, man. Don't do that. It's like, behold, I revived Tupac in front of a Vocaloid. Is this what the estate of Tupac would have desired? I don't think so. Is there an estate of Tupac? That sounds interesting. Oh, we got some essence of episode 5 in this level. I just realized just now. I kind of liked episode 5. It was a breather. Referring to Wolfenstein 3D episode 5, of course. Although episode 5 of Star Wars is probably pretty good, yeah. Actually, yeah, considering that there's like three other ones, like, we need episodes 7, 8, of 9 of Wolfenstein 3D. And I think there's more Star Wars content in the works, like maybe for like 3 other episodes. I at least know that they're using you know, Rey and other stuff, and I'm like, what could that be? Like, I don't know where this nature of streaming is going to. Like, we're like building the world of stuff like we do with Marvel and Star Wars and other things. And, you know, to understand, yeah, like, this is an info dump. It's not an info dump, it's a lore dump. It's like, if you want to understand the context, you have to watch all these things, right? Like, it's a package deal. It's like, damn, that doesn't make sense. But you know who's really a victim of that? Kingdom Hearts is a very victim of that. Because, like, if you want to know all the lore, you better play, like, this one rare mobile Java game and this MMO and watch this content you could have only saw in the Japanese theater for, like, a few months in the entire history of man. Like, I don't think that's fair. Not to mention how many platforms you would have had to have played. Like, there's still some stuff you could only have played on the DS, okay? And that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. No wonder Sony's like, we need a PSP. This is getting out of control. Game Boy Advance and DS are getting too good for RPGs again. We must stop them. Stop them for taking us at our word. Oh yeah, I just learned that not only Nintendo dumped Sony, Sega did so too, and it's just like, At least in Nintendo's case, you know, they had plenty of Nintendo power. With Sega, I think Sega just spreads itself too thin. It's like, we don't need help, we'll do it. Our own stuff, like with Sega CD and 32X, and I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but it can't possibly go wrong. They're just lucky I like their games. The non-Sonic ones. Obviously the Sonic ones, don't be silly. I do not care for Sonic Frontiers, though. Which is odd, because a lot of people love Sonic Frontiers and hate Sonic Forces, but I love Sonic Forces. I don't even know if that's a hot take or contrarian. I think I just understand that I like the game, because it is essentially... You know what Sonic Forces is? Sonic Forces is basically a ROM hack of Sonic Generations. And I'm okay with that. Even if the writing is dumb. But that's pretty much what it is. And... you know, the whole creative character aspect is kind of but I'm okay with it. Really, the only bad thing about it is because you can actually make your character more powerful, and then the other two Sonics, who don't really get stronger in the same way they did in Sonic Generations, that puts them on a backseat. That could be my problem with the game itself. Not with the actual game design. I especially like, you know, they have their version of the Yoshi coin or Ace coin in Sonic, which is the red rings. So if you collect all 5 red rings, then you know what happens? You do the level again and you get like, there's like 2 other sets of these things. I'm trying to remember what they are. Okay. Like there was this like silver ring thing which you collect in an order, and then some other god thing. I forget, but it's very cool is what it is. It's like, like it was a way to 100% the level without it actually mattering to the story at all. But you get achievements for it, but it's just like, I wanted to do it just for the sake of doing it, and I did. Well, not all of it, but you know, I could have done this. My experiences. Also, I was able to get Sonic Forces for cheap, so you guys can suck it. I think the newer Super Monkey Ball thing, I don't know if people like either, so I can get that one cheap if I wanted to. See, your hatred of games just makes them cheaper for me. You fool. What? No one cares about mod number 100 of Doom? That's alright, more for me, you know. Your trash is my treasure. My trasher, if it were. The trasher on the pasture, going through the rapture as I capture the moments in time. Before I suture for the future. All those milkmen, they want to have your milk. It's a milkman conspiracy. The real milk conspiracy is how, at some point, humans branched off to actually evolve to digesting cow's milk as opposed to their own human milk. Like, that's not weird or anything. That's why it's weird when I tell people, hey, I'm lactose intolerant. But it's just like, no, it's you guys who are lactose intolerant. We were here first! But you put in everything. Like, it'd be okay if it was like a side thing, but no. We Americans, we put milk and corn in fucking everything. Like, chocolate is not supposed to taste like that kind of chocolate, where it's like milk chocolate. And that's like everything chocolate I get. I'm like, that's not fair, man. I have to have the pure stuff, or the dark stuff. And, you know, it ends up being bitter as a result. I'm like, oh, what can you do? Oh, yeah, and sugar. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like we can't eat anything without it being sugar, otherwise we just feel dead inside. It's like... it's a perfect metaphor. Oh my god! Ah! Wow. Alright. I'll resolve that room. Should I keep these 2 lives? Is there anything else I need to do? I guess I could double check, but I don't think so. Yeah, that was one of those gotcha moments. It's like, travel through these purple walls and then be ambushed by thousands of dudes. At the Ram Ranch. No, sorry. I didn't mean that at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. It's one of those things that you don't want to care about, but it memifies itself into your consciousness. Kind of like a lot of things. Like a lot of things. Oh man. Something tells me the Nazis would have had the birdcage in the most ironic way possible. Damn. Mindgaben, which is what happens when you play this on Steam. Oh, right. Other news regarding this game. Bethesda, with their id properties and stuff, kind of like combine this with the Wolfenstein 3D, like to combine Doom 2 with Doom 1, or something like that. But basically, you can't get the 2 other mission packs from there anymore if you get this game off of Steam, or possibly also GOG. So, as far as I know, that might mean the stuff is as abandoned as the Duke Nukem 3D mods. Like, official ones. I'm not talking the Alien World Order stuff. I haven't even decided what I want to do about Alien World Order. I really don't know what to do. I guess the same... it's in the same category as those 2 Quake episodes. Or was it like, Dimension of the Past and Dimensions of the Machine? Like, those are kind of one-offs, but in a way that... I don't know. What about that one thing by Nerd for Doom 2? What was... it was like a 9-level episode, but for Doom 2? I don't know if that has its own title screen. If it does, it most likely does. I'll give it a whirl, baby. Just like eventually I'm gonna give Sigil a whirl. Eventually. You're gonna have to hold me to that. If only because I know there's gonna be a Sigil 2, and if only because I know in the past Sigil was updated. Imagine that. An official mod needing an update after like a very stable release. Mr. Romero. Look, I understand. I want to make sure it's perfect, and I'm all like, hey, can we stop with this early access culture invading like even indie studios and unofficial projects? Looking at you, Sonic Girl Blast 2, which is incredible that you've went for this long. You've went for so long that like you've gone through like generations of humans that are still working on the project. It's like, wait, is there like a direction this place is going? I wonder if that's like the only game community I can compare it to be like the kind of thing that's a cult, but the cult is instead an actual cargo cult as opposed to having like cult-like behaviors. Or, you know, cult classic in the most literal sense. I don't know. That reminds me of another community, of the Zelda Classic community, who are a bit uppity, but in just one important way. They do not like it when you can modify their own content that they made, despite the fact that they modify content for Nintendo. In fact, they'll lock it. This is something that ROM hacks used to do too, for Mario World stuff. I'm glad they stopped that, but Zelda Classic I don't think got the hint. And I'm all like, wait, but you're modifying Nintendo. What do you care if you guys get modified? What do you mean? What do you mean? It's like, they stole my stuff. It's like, irony much? You know, it's not like they were selling it. If they were selling it, yeah, you have something to complain about. You know who really has a reason to complain about it? Guys who make mods of games and then those get sold as cartridges. So, unless your game stuff was sold I don't think you have a stone to stand on. So that's my beef with them. I've been around, my boys. Oh yeah, I have a beef with the Lemmings community too. But to be fair, that's a puzzle game. But that's not the reason why. That's not the reason why. Although in a way it is. It's that they took what was essentially an action puzzle game, made it purely a puzzle. Or essentially they changed the rules of a puzzle game to suit their own confines of how the game should actually run. For Neo Lemmings. Super Lemonade is more faithful to what Lemmings is. But yeah, it changes the rules of a game. Like, okay, fine, so you just do your own thing. Alright. But then I've noticed that almost every month when I check there for the latest updates, it's always changing the gameplay drastically. To the point where by now, if you put in the original level data in it, it just won't work anymore. Which is crazy. They've gone so far at the end, it's like, we're not Lemmings anymore. We don't know what we are. But even including that, like, stuff that people have made had to be ported, like, a dozen times by now. And people aren't going to keep up for something that they thought was, like, set in stone. Could have resolved this in the way that Zelda Classic did by having multiple versions available, but no. Which brings me to the next point. Windows 11, what are you doing? Hey, you didn't even finish Windows 10. You want to start Windows 11? What do you mean? It's gonna feel very stupid if Windows 10 becomes obsolete on Steam within the next year, because it seems like not very long ago XP was and now 7 was, even though that was a very short span of time between the ditching of XP and then Vista 7, 8, 8.1, whatever. Like, guys, who's using this stuff? I don't know.